My sister secretly sold our late grandmother's house and proudly told me, "You'll never get any of the money." I was devastated until the new owner called me and said, "You should come over. I found something in the attic that changes everything." When my sister saw it, she was so shocked she collapsed. I had never hated her more than in that moment. We were standing in Grandma's old living room, with its creaky wooden floors and ugly green wallpaper she never replaced. The house still smelled like old books and lavender. It had always been my safe place, but now, it wasn't ours anymore. "I sold it," my sister Claire said, crossing her arms and looking at me like she was daring me to argue. I stared at her, confused. "What do you mean, you sold it?" She sighed like I was being slow. "The house, Grandma's house, it's gone. New owners are moving in next week." I felt like the ground had disappeared under me. "You can't do that. We agreed we'd figure this out together." She smirked, that same smug look she always had when she knew she was winning. "No, you thought we'd do this together, but Grandma made me the executor of the will, and I decided to sell. And by the way," she leaned in, pretending to feel sorry, "you're not getting a single penny." I was so angry I could have hit her. This wasn't just a house to me, it was our history, our childhood. It was where we spent summers baking cookies while Grandma told us stories. It was where I stayed when I had nowhere else to go after my divorce. It was my safe place, and she sold it, without even telling me. I clenched my fists, trying to stay calm. "Why would you do this?" Claire shrugged. "It was an old dump, and I needed the money, simple as that." I couldn't believe it. "You needed the money?" She rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't act so surprised. You know Grandma always loved me more. She wanted me to have a better life. Besides," she smiled, and I wanted to wipe that smug look off her face. "You'll never see a dime of that money." I walked out. If I stayed any longer, I would have said something I regretted. For weeks, I tried to move on. I told myself it was just a house, just walls and a roof, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't forget the betrayal. I barely spoke to Claire, not that she cared. She was too busy spending her money, posting pictures of shopping sprees and vacations like she hadn't just torn our family apart. Then, one night, my phone rang. It was a number I didn't know. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. "Hello? Hi, is this my name?" "Yes, who's this?" "I'm Mark. I just bought your grandmother's house." My heart sank. "Oh, listen, I know this is weird, but I found something in the attic, and I think you should come over." I frowned. "What is it?" There was a pause. Then Mark said something that made me freeze. "I think it changes everything." I didn't think twice. I was in my car in minutes. I barely remember driving there. My hands were gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My heart was racing the whole way. When I got to Grandma's house, it didn't feel like home anymore. The porch light was on, but the windows were dark and empty. Mark, a tall man in his 40s wearing a baseball cap, was waiting by the front door. He nodded and gestured for me to follow him inside. "I wasn't sure if I should call you," he said as we walked down the hallway, "but once I found it, I thought you'd want to see." "Found what?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he led me up the narrow stairs to the attic. The attic smelled like dust and old memories. It was filled with boxes and furniture. Mark walked to the far corner, where an old trunk sat, half covered by a moth-eaten blanket. The lid was already open. Inside, wrapped in yellowed cloth, was an envelope. It was thick and heavy. Mark handed it to me. "Go ahead." I took a deep breath and opened it. Inside was a stack of papers, and as soon as I started reading, my heart stopped. It was another will, a different one, dated 2 years later than the one my sister used to sell the house. And this one left everything to me. My hands shook. "This can't be real," I whispered. Mark crossed his arms. "I thought the same thing, but I had a lawyer friend look at it. He says it's real." My mind was racing. How had this been hidden here? Then it hit me. Claire. She had been the one to go through Grandma's paperwork after she died. She must have found this will and hidden it. She knew Grandma had changed her mind and left everything to me. Instead of telling me, she buried it, lied, and sold the house out from under me. I felt sick. Mark must have seen the look on my face because he said, "Look, I don't know the whole story, but if this will is real, what she did is fraud." I swallowed hard. "Yeah," I said quietly, "it is." I didn't sleep that night. I spent hours reading the will, taking pictures, and sending them to a lawyer friend. He called me early the next morning. "This is real," he said, "and if your sister knew about it and still sold the house, she's in big trouble." I barely heard the rest. I was already calling Claire. She answered, sounding annoyed. "What do you want?" "You knew," I said, my voice calm but cold. She paused, then laughed nervously. Knew what? About Grandma's real will. Silence. Then she said, I have no idea what you're talking about. You lied to me, I said, my voice shaking with anger. You found the real will and hid it. You sold the house and took the money, knowing it wasn't yours. More silence. Then she said something that made me furious. Prove it. I hung up because I was about to do just that. I didn't argue with her. Instead, I went straight to a lawyer. When he saw the will, his eyes widened. This changes everything, he said. If your sister knew about this, she committed fraud. The house wasn't hers to sell, it was yours. He filed a lawsuit against Claire, a motion to reverse the sale, and a demand for all the money she stole. I knew Claire wouldn't take it well, but I wasn't ready for what happened next. When she got the legal papers, she lost it. She called me, screaming, you have no right. I laughed. No right? You stole from me, you lied, and now, you're going to pay for it. She hung up. Days passed, then weeks, and then, the big shock came. My lawyer dug deeper and found something terrible. Claire hadn't just hidden one will, she had done something worse. She had faked the will she used, the signature, the witnesses, everything. She had lied to sell the house, and now, she wasn't just facing a lawsuit, she was facing jail. I'll never forget the moment Claire realized it was over. We were in the lawyer's office. She sat across from me, pale and shaking, gripping the chair so hard her nails dug into the wood. My lawyer showed the evidence, the real will, the fake one, and proof of her fraud. Then he leaned forward and said calmly, you have two choices, give everything back or go to jail. Claire looked at me, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to argue. Then she saw my face and knew she had lost. Her body slumped, her hands shook, and she collapsed in the chair. For the first time in her life, she realized she wasn't going to get away with it. Claire returned the money, she had no choice. The house? The courts canceled the sale. Mark, the buyer, was actually happy about it. He didn't want to be part of a fraud case. And me? I got my grandmother's house back. Claire? She lost everything, her reputation, her money, her freedom. In the end, karma got her, and I made sure she paid for what she did. I thought it was over. I thought Claire had learned her lesson and faced the consequences. I was wrong. 3 months later, my lawyer called, and what he told me changed everything. Hey, my lawyer said, sounding serious, we have a problem. I sat up straight. What now? He sighed. Claire's not done messing with you. I clenched my jaw. What do you mean? He hesitated, then said, we checked her finances. She moved all the money before the court could stop her. My stomach dropped. What? She put everything in an offshore account and then claimed she was broke. I was furious. She had returned some money to make it look like she was cooperating, but the rest? She hid it. Claire had pulled one last trick. I wasn't going to let her get away with it, not this time. I met with my lawyer the next day, and we made a plan. Claire was arrogant. She thought she was smarter than everyone. So, to catch her, I had to act like I'd given up. I called her. Hey, I said, trying to sound defeated. Can we meet? She laughed. Oh, feeling sorry now? Too bad. You got your money. We're done. I gritted my teeth. Please, let's just talk. She sighed. Fine, but don't waste my time. She had no idea I was about to waste hers. We met at a small cafe. Claire walked in, wearing fancy sunglasses and carrying a new purse, bought with stolen money. She sat down, smirking. So, what do you want? I played along. I don't want to fight anymore. This whole court thing has been exhausting. She sipped her coffee, looking pleased. Well, that's what happens when you drag family into legal battles. I almost choked. She was acting like the victim. I forced a smile. Look, I just want to know, how did you do it? She raised an eyebrow. Do what? I leaned in. Come on, I know you still have the money. You were always the smart one. I just want to understand how you did it. She studied me, then laughed. And then she told me everything. She bragged about how she moved the money before the court could freeze it, how she used a friend's name for the offshore account, and how she kept just enough in her main account to look like she was cooperating. She thought she was safe, thinking I was too dumb to fight back. What she didn't know, I was recording the whole thing. I sent the recording to my lawyer, and within 2 weeks, Claire was arrested. Fraud, money laundering, contempt of court. She didn't just lose the money, she lost her freedom. She had scammed one too many people, and this time, there was no escape. The court took everything she owned. Her house? Gone. Her car? Taken. Her hidden money? Found and seized. She cried in court, begging for mercy. The judge didn't care. You showed no remorse, he said. You stole from your own family. You lied. Now, you'll pay the price. Claire was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And me? I walked out of the courtroom feeling free. Finally, Claire had nothing left to steal, and I had what I needed, justice. Claire was in jail. That should have been enough, but after everything she did, I wanted to make sure she could never come back. Claire always found a way to win. She could talk her way out of anything, making people believe she was the victim. Even in prison, I knew she'd find someone to trick, but this time, I was going to make sure she stayed down. Claire had one last safety net, her friend Amanda. Amanda helped Claire hide the stolen money. Her name was on the offshore accounts, and Claire trusted her to move the money while avoiding the courts. I knew if Amanda wasn't stopped, Claire would still have money waiting when she got out. So, I did what Claire would never expect. I took Amanda down, too. I told the police about Amanda's role and gave them everything: bank records, receipts, and messages between Claire and Amanda planning their scheme. Amanda was arrested quickly. When faced with charges, she gave up Claire completely. She told the police about Claire's other scams, fake loans, unpaid debts, and even a fake investment scheme from years ago. Turns out, Claire had a lot more secrets than I knew. Her 5-year sentence doubled. Claire wasn't getting out anytime soon. With Claire and Amanda both in jail, I made sure Claire had nothing left. She had no money, the court took it all. She had no friends, Amanda turned on her, and everyone else disappeared when she stopped being useful. She had no home, her apartment was gone. Even if she got out early, she had nowhere to go. And the best part? She had to watch me win. While she was stuck in prison, I was doing great. I fixed up Grandma's house. Every broken thing Claire ignored, I repaired. Every memory she tried to erase, I saved. The house she stole from me? Now it was mine, legally, forever. And Claire? She had nothing. She wrote me a letter from prison, begging, saying she had changed and was sorry. I didn't even open it. I sent it back. Claire wasn't worth my time anymore. She got what she deserved, and for the first time in my life, I finally had peace. The end.